Welcome to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour, where we dive into the world of wedding entrepreneurs. Learn how they got started, what advice they have for you, and everything in between. So grab a drink and take a seat as we interview amazing vendors with your hosts, Derek and Jade. Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. It's a podcast, but it's also happy hour.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. My name is Derek with Derek Preciado Photography.
My name is Jade with Jade Preciado Events. Today, we're delving into the world of wedding photography and videography with Cameron Ingalls. Plus, we'll uncover a few of his secrets from creating a comfortable atmosphere for clients to what's in his camera bag to post-production and even natural lighting techniques. But that's not all. We'll also chat about the wedding standard, discussing the vendor selection process, what makes their community stand out, and their future goals.
That's right. Stay tuned for insights, inspiration, and a sip of what's in Cameron's cup as we uncover the magic behind the lens and the heart of the community in weddings. So grab a drink, take a seat, and let's get to it.
Wedding Vendors Happy Hour.
Yo.
Hi, Cameron.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm just finishing up my drink. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries.
What is it?
Yeah, what are you drinking over there?
It's an old fashioned.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
we need wine.
Starting off. Oh, look at it.
Refined rye.
Nice.
Finish it
Starting.
off.
I love it.
Yeah, starting off the happy hour right. The podcast episode.
You guys emphasize the happy hour thing. Let me deliver this one real quick. Hold on.
For sure.
Cool.
All right.
Right.
Cameron, man, thanks so much for taking the time to be a part of our show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
I want you to just let our audience know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, I'm Cameron Ingalls, and I am a photographer. I shoot weddings, and I've been doing that for 21 years now. I'm going on my 22nd year here in September, and
Oh, wow.
I love people. I'm a people person first, and that's what makes me a good photographer is my passion for people. And I also have the Wedding Standard. It's another little business I created. I don't know, over a decade ago, maybe it was 15 years ago, something like that. But it's a way for me to talk about all the amazing vendors in the area, so that my brides hire great people.
This guy, man. Well, yeah, you're heavily loved in this wedding industry. So thank you.
Cool.
All right, man. So before we get into it, I also want to know, what are you rocking in your camera bag?
I am shooting on the Canon R5. It's a mirrorless body. And then I've been a Canon guy since I started, because one of my first cameras was a Canon Rebel.
Nice.
And so I've just gone from Canon camera to Canon camera. It's hard to say fast. And then I just bought a new lens the other day, the 28 to 70 2.0, and it's so smooth. It's so better.
I've heard good things about that. Like, people just use that lens because it's like almost like a Zoom Prime.
It is. It's exactly all the benefit of Prime as far as the aperture, and you can zoom in, and it's great portrait lens. So I finally bit the bullet and bought it, and I've loved it. They call it a quiver killer because you don't want to use any other lens. You don't want to use your primes anymore. And that's definitely what it's become just in the short time I've been using it.
And that thing's like a bazooka, that lens. My God.
Yeah. It's fat.
Gosh.
It feels like a Canon, it's the most Canon camera lens I've ever owned.
That's so cool, man. I shoot Sony, so I'm surprised Sony hasn't created one of those yet, which is interesting.
It's all coming, everything just keeps getting better and better. It makes my job so much easier. Even the camera has eye control, or not eye control. That was my EOS 3 back in the day. This camera has face detection and eye detection. So, if someone's walking across a scene and it focuses on their eye and face, it follows them. Like the bride walking down the aisle now is like the easiest thing in the world. It just tracks focus and makes my job so much easier. I can be more present with the people and not have to worry so much about the camera,
Yeah, that's so crazy. Is that the camera where it tracks your eye too on what you're looking at? It'll focus on whatever it is you're looking at?
I don't know if it does that, but it might. I just don't know because I haven't noticed that feature. But the EOS 3 back in film days used to track your eye and where you'd look.
Dang.
I don't know how it worked or how accurate it was, but it was the big deal when I was first getting into professional photography. That was my first professional camera.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Dude, so for weddings, do you have any, let's get into weddings. So do you have any like routines or like special remedies you take to get yourself pumped before you start the wedding day?
Oh man. No, I don't think so. I used to go, it changes. I mean, I'm doing it so long. I used to go to Jamba Juice and get a big Jamba Juice and drive to Paso or, San Ynez, wherever I'm shooting, and drink a Jamba Juice on the way. And, lately it's been, I think the thing I've realized the most is I just want to have downtime in the morning. I don't want to go surfing. I don't want to go go jog. I just want to be chilling and sitting around and just being with my family or having pancakes, whatever. So it's kind of more a rest morning because I'm thinking about it from the moment I wake up, is anticipating the day and thinking about, the people and, always with that little bit of, oh man, I really hope I deliver. I hope I can really perform and do a great job for this couple. And it's not just the 8 hours you're shooting, it's the whole day, Yeah. So I just try to rest and be present with my family and then so that when I'm there focused on the day, that I'm completely present there and I have all the energy that I need for the marathon. It's 8 to 10 hours is and you don't stop until you eat dinner usually. It's a lot. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah. What would you say? Did you do anything when you first started? Did you like have a pump up song or anything
to go along with the Jamba Juice?
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah, I'm feeling so uncool now. It would be cool. Yeah. No, I never really had a jam or anything that would just get me going. It's usually, I'd go pick up my second shooter and hang with them on the way, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing it right. Save your energy for the marathon and mentally prepare, be in the right headspace from the moment you arrive. So,
Jade's a very Zen person, and I need like a pump up.
I'm on your level.
Okay, so what do you do, Derek? Tell me about your song. Do you got a song or a food that you eat?
Dude, I'm taking Red Bulls and listening to We Are the Champions, and I'm going. So funny.
That's the way to go. Hey, keep going. I love it. And Jade, do you do anything special?
Oh, I'm on your level. I'm constantly like, I'm dreaming about the day, anticipating all of the moves, all of the different things that could pivot, planning ahead.
As a planner, there's a million things you got to think about, and you got to just be ready for whatever is going to go wrong or the hiccup to anticipate like a good answer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure it feels like plan A if it is a plan B or C or D.
Yeah. And the bride doesn't feel any of the stress
Yes.
Yeah. I think that word anticipate is so powerful, for wedding vendors. Is like you basically are spending the whole day hyper focused on the moment and whatever is needed to make that moment special, fabulous for the couple and the guests involved. And then you're like always anticipating what's next, what's coming up, how do we prepare for that, what could happen. And as a photographer, like it's all about anticipating the next shot, the next moment.
Right.
You see like the flower girl walk over to the bride and you're like, oh, there's a moment coming and I'm going to be ready for it or whatever. It's like that as a photographer, but it's probably more so as a planner. You're anticipating everything. That's wild.
That's super wild. Super wild.
Yeah, we both have to do a little bit of it throughout the day.
I don't know how anyone does it. Your planners are just amazing. They're they're incredible people.
So are you guys. Well, I want to know, take us back to the beginning. What inspired you first to pursue photography, like particularly in the wedding industry?
Yeah. So in high school, I got into photography, got a hold of my grandpa's old camera. Ooh, I got it right here.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is an old Contax. Film camera from the 70s. And, it's just this old beast, and it's a machine. It really works. So
was that actually like 35?
Yeah, 35 millimeter film. And my grandpa probably bought this in the 70s or whatever, 60s, I don't even know. But got that in high school and got hooked on photography. And so went to Cuesta College. I grew up in Paso Robles, and then went to UC Cuesta and enjoyed, photography class there. That was the first class I chose to take as a creative, artistic. That was the only class I cared about. The rest, I was just getting my general education. So I knew I wanted photography. And so I took both black and white beginning and black and white advanced, the only two courses they offered. And this is like 98.
Yeah.
1998. The other millennium or whatever. And so, I loved it. I thrived in that class, and, just seeing the images come to life in the darkroom on the paper, and in the water, and the chemicals.
Yeah.
And, I would just shoot everything and anything, friends, senior portraits, friends, family, friend gets engaged. I'm shooting their engagement session. And then suddenly someone from my church asked me to shoot their wedding. They were, their whole family was coming here from England. They didn't have any money. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll shoot your wedding. I'd love it. So I had my fanny pack full of film. I had like 20 rolls of film in there, and I would just change film out. And I had my Canon Rebel, and I was just like, had this moment before the ceremony where I'm like, this is so much fun. Thank you, God, for this day. And I heard him say, this is what you're supposed to do.
Wow.
Just in my thoughts, and I went, what? Be a wedding photographer? Have a business? I don't know about that. I kind of argued with God a little bit. Like I thought I wanted to be in ministry. I thought I wanted to be, a pastor or a missionary or serve in a church and, be about people's lives. I was at the time a counselor. I worked for a nonprofit called Family Care Network. And I worked with kids that were in and out of group homes or, juvenile hall, and they're rehabbing with their family. And so I just thought I wanted to serve people and in a kind of counselor role, therapist role, something like that. Just wasn't sure what. And that moment changed everything. And I just went, okay, I guess, how can I be in business if I want to serve God and serve people? Yeah. And I don't want to be in business just to make money. And I felt like God just showed me that, hey, you love people, you love God and you love people. That's the first and greatest commandment. You can do that as a burger flipper at McDonald's or a janitor at the local bank. You can do that. You can do that work anywhere. And secondly, like you need great light to make a photograph, right? And I don't know if you guys are spiritual or have any religious background. Do you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so light is a really big thing, in Christianity and in the Bible, and it talks about being light in the world. That Jesus is the light of the world, and that we were made to be lights. And so, because if you shine light on a subject, you can take a great photograph, and you can, when you shine, you put something in the best light, you show them at their best. And God showed me that at that time, that was the calling he had on my life, was to be a light to people, to capture their best selves on their best day, and then give that back to them. So I said, okay, I'll be a wedding photographer. I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about girls and dresses and flowers, but I'll do it. So that's the very long story, and kind of probably odd that it's about my faith, but I can't tell my story without sharing my faith, So there you go.
I love it.
I love that you're staying true to who you are and like hanging on to that and being bringing that to the forefront of your business and really how you approach a wedding day, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you just love people and you show up and you're hyper focused and aware of what's going on and you serve in any way possible and they walk away with these treasured memories and they go, wow, I can't believe how beautiful we are or how beautiful our love is. One of the best compliments I got from a couple was when I was first starting out, and I was super insecure, super nervous, didn't know. It was fake it till you make it. It was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying my best. I'll keep shooting until I get it, And I shot this engagement session in Montana de Oro with this awesome couple, and they're so sweet. Their names were Kristen and Allegra. And Kristen was the guy, and he was a friend of mine. And Allegra, she told me after she got these engagement pictures back, she said, I found myself falling more in love with him looking at the photos.
Wow.
Aww.
And I said, well, I said, how is that possible? And she says, because I've never seen the way I look at him. And when I saw the love in my eyes, it made me realize how much more I love him than I actually knew. And I felt my love grow for him. And I'm like, whoa. That's powerful. That's pretty magical if you ask me, because love isn't something we can see, really, but we do see it every day in people's expressions, in how they touch, how they look, how they respond to each other. And photography, wedding photography, is all about making that invisible thing called love visible through the power we have to shine lights on people and make them feel permission to be them best selves, put them in the best light, and just kind of breathe a little life into the scene. And then boom, you get this shot that shows love. And that's eternal, and it transcends like the natural. It's just cool. I don't know.
Dude, I have so many questions. This is
you're taking photography to the next level. This is amazing.
Dude, you need like a TED Talk. You need to be on like TED Talks.
Okay. Let's not go that far. I can do a workshop once in a while, but talking to a room full of people and with them, I don't know about that.
Well, I want to go back a little bit to first. Are you still shooting film?
No, I am not. I did that for a few years, and this is in the digital era.
Mm-hmm.
I dove into that and I have looked back. I did buy a Contax 645, which is on the shelf, but I was dabbling in that a few years ago going, how can I, grow my value? And can film add to the value I offer couples? Because there's this big wave of film photography, and my good friend Jose Villa was like, he recommended, like, if you're going to do film, just go all the way film. Don't do hybrid. And so I actually considered, I was trying to do film for a couple years, like a year or so, but I wasn't really selling it or pushing it. And I was also offering digital. I was doing hybrid, and it's not like people were hiring me and wanting to spend more money because I was offering it. So the camera broke anyways, and I just never got it fixed. I just gave up on film. But what I did do is I pivoted into video. So I decided to choose video over film because that was a more clear upsell. Because it's about, making as much profit as possible on a one-day booking, because you can only book 52 Saturdays a year. And then in the busy season, you can book like 30 to 40. And, sometimes you got a double header weekend, and sometimes you have a weekend off. But as I've grown my family, as I've, built a career, it's trying to maximize my profitability, which isn't the way I started out thinking, because I was very much starving artist mentality, just having fun and loving people and trying to not worried about money or trying not to think about it, but I had to think about it a lot more.
Yeah. Life happens.
That's a tangent.
I have another one. I'm just going off some of the stuff you said earlier. So I want to talk about the light.
Yeah. So
do you find it sometimes in this competitive market to keep that light bright in yourself and also in like the jobs you do?
As in my passion and my personality
exactly.
and my investment in the people I'm shooting. I think that is a struggle, like annually, and it's a struggle at different seasons of life. And my career, there's been times where you feel the burnout hit, and you you struggle to be present in the moment with the people you're serving. And it's always a good indicator that I need to tend to myself. I need to tend to that fire inside me. There's another verse in the Bible that says, fan into the flame the gift that God's given you. And so there's times where I have to nurture that flame, and I need to like invest in it and remind myself what I'm called to, and remind myself who I am, and also give myself space and time to rebound or refresh myself. And so because I think there's a lot of times when we're trying to shoot volume and we're trying to make enough money to survive for the year. We make a bunch of money between March, April through October. Yeah. And then it's crickets, and you might get a sprinkling of jobs, you get deposits for the next season, but it can hit really hard all at once, and then you might, there's been seasons where my head's down. I've just done 18 Saturdays back to back without a break, with a couple double headers in there, and you're just tired. And then the backlog of editing and people inquiring, and you just need to take space, refining your process so that it's the most efficient, so that you get time to rebound. So to answer your question about the flame or the light, it's so important for me to rest, and it's just important for all creatives to rest, because if you don't rest, you lose your sense of self and what you're gifted with. And because everything I want to be is present with the people I'm with, and especially when I'm got my camera and I'm capturing this thing that's happening once. I want to really care, and I really want to be there. So long answer.
I love the long answers though. This is amazing. I love it.
It's probably all you'll get with me. Sorry. Until the lightning round.
Great.
So let's jump back into like some shoots on the wedding day. So Cameron, how do you cultivate a comfortable and relaxed atmosphere for your clients during a shoot on a wedding day?
I would say it starts with, my first meeting with a couple is just helping them see how disarming I am and how unintimidating I am. I'm a 2 on the Enneagram. I'm a helper. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm passion and prestige. I'm on the what's that one called? The fascination advantage. That's another personality test. And I'm all about love and excellence. And so I tell my couples right away, I just want you to know, this is about you. This has nothing to do with me. Your day, your relationship, your love story. My job is to be the wind in your sails when you need it. Be the shoulder to cry on when you're stressed about something. And I'm going to wipe up the mess on the floor if something gets spilled, so that you don't have to worry about it and you can be present in the moment, and I want you guys to be more present with each other than you are responding to me. So I start out in my initial consultation explaining that to people, and then engagement session, it's the best way for me to show them how easy it is to be themselves in front of me and the camera. Cause it's really intimidating when you pull out a camera and you go, show me your love, or kiss, or smile. You don't want to give, direction like that. You start engaging with people and drawing them out and giving them permission to be themselves, giving them permission to feel and express those emotions and be natural. And, usually one of the two in the couple are terrified of the photography process, are intimidated about being photographed. And they say, it's funny how people all say the same things. Well, I'm not photogenic, or, my bride, she's beautiful and gorgeous. I'm not photogenic. I'm horrible in pictures. Yeah. And I'm just awkward, and I go, oh, no problem. I shoot awkward people. So that's great. And I love unphotogenic people. And I just help them see that I just want you to be yourself. And so on the wedding day, they already have a sense of who I am, because I've won their trust in the engagement session. The pictures turned out better than they imagined. And they feel like they have a friend there, instead of a photographer. And people come up to me at the reception. Oh, how do you know the couple? You guys seem like such good friends. How long you known them? And I'm like, they just hired me, this last year. We are friends now, but like probably won't be hanging out much in the future because they live in the Bay Area or whatever. So yeah, I just make people feel like they're allowed to be themselves, and yeah, that's it.
Dude,
So simple, but so powerful.
super powerful.
I love that. And it sounds like your overall brand is who you are. I'm curious, how does it translate? Like when you are hired for photo and video, how do you work with your team to carry that experience over to the video side of things?
That's a good question. Well, the reason why I got into video was because a couple of reasons. I hit 10 years of photographing weddings, and it's like going to the same Broadway play every weekend with a different cast of characters and maybe a different venue. You know exactly what's going to happen, and and with a little slight variations and personalities, but you can anticipate, like that word I said earlier, you can anticipate most things. So to me, I started getting a little bored on the wedding day. 10 years in, I remember shooting a wedding, the Dalliday Garden, Adobe Garden in San Luis Obispo. And I was tired. I was probably sleep deprived. And, it's like so slow. How there's some weddings that just are so slow in the getting ready process.
Yeah.
And standing around a lot. And when I get slow, it's not good. I want to be like just moving from thing to thing. And I told my assistant, I'm like, can you just go to Sally Lou's and get me a coffee real quick? And she brought me back a coffee. But I was at this point where I needed to be on my toes a little bit more. I need to be challenged. And because my camera now also offered video capabilities, I was able to tap into that desire I had when I started to invest in video. When I started, I wanted to learn video too, but it was just two separate cameras. So I had to pick one and go with it. So 10 years in, I went, oh my gosh, my Mark IV, whatever, Mark III, I don't even know what it was at the time, but this thing does video too. So at a wedding in the Smoky Mountains of West Virginia or something, I think, or Tennessee, I don't know, somewhere out there, I was shooting a wedding, and I just flipped it to video in between shooting photos, and I just had a blast. And it was just so much more challenging to capture motion, to actually think about the motion I'm making with the camera, as well as the motion that's happening in front of me. And then the component of audio, the component of vowels overlaying, and then music. And you know how this is, Derek, is just like building a puzzle. So on the wedding day, long answer again, I'm just going to give you every answer is going to be long.
I love it.
On the wedding day, I actually shoot photos, and I flip the video, and I capture video clips too.
Oh, damn.
My second shooter is doing video primarily. And then I'll put the lapel mic on the groom. We'll hook into the sound system to get speeches, with the DJ. But I'm the primary photographer, and he's the primary filmographer. And then we have a second shooter photography wise that only does photos. So that's how I work, as a team of 3. And that makes us a really tight team. So there's less cameras pointing at the bride and groom, and it doesn't feel like the paparazzi, and it actually allows them ability to breathe and feel more themselves and be more in the moment. So I prefer it that way.
Dude, that's super interesting. Do you find it harder to get a lot of good B-roll and the main shots when it's just one other filmographer and you?
No. We're making 4-minute videos, 4 to 6 minute videos. Anything longer than that, your family's going to just be so annoyed when you ask them, hey, you want to sit down and see my wedding video? And they just be like, oh no. So 12-minute videos, no one wants to see that except for just the tight family,
Yeah, of course.
So we make these short, punchy music videos with the feel. You want to really capture the feel of the day, the love of the couple. And it needs to be almost like a photo slideshow with music and audio. Yeah. The photos are moving photos. That's how I see it. One song, one and done, maybe 2 songs, but they're on the 2 to 3 minute side, that's how I roll.
That's so cool that you're able to just switch back and forth between photo and video on wedding day, and that it works for you and your team. That's I don't know if it's normal, but that's the first I've heard.
That's hardcore.
Of that. That's cool.
Yeah. You want to know my secret weapon or my secret, I'll tell you, like my secret offering to couples that actually help me get more videos.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome to use it. Whoever listens to this, you can steal my idea. But this is how I started booking a lot of video work. Was couples have a budget. Yep. They blow their budget. They're usually over budget, and they've got to spend all of it before the wedding day. Except when they want to buy a wedding album. And they come back a year later and say, hey, our year's anniversary is coming up. We'd love to buy a wedding album. Great. Here's a little upsell, $1,500. We get a leather bound, beautiful album, Italian leather, whatever. I would always sell these wedding albums. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could sell wedding videos afterwards? So I started a thing called the video guarantee, which the bride and groom wouldn't have to pay me any more money. And I shoot the video, and we hold on to the video and they pay for it later. And they make payment plan till their first year anniversary. And boom, on their first anniversary, they're watching their wedding video. And so it's a deferred cost, and it can come from a different fund. They can ask for it from their parents or grandparents later, or they just make payments, and it's like $200 to $300 a month, and boom, they got this wedding film at the end of a year. So
dude, that is, yeah. I have so many questions just for that one thing. So
yeah, go for it.
So like, is that like, or is that something you edit right away? And when they ask for it, they already have it, or you edit it when they're like, hey, we're interested in that video?
Two ways. I've allowed couples to not commit to paying for it at all. And we just bank the footage. And then someone gave me advice, my financial advisor was like, you should have them give you like a deposit because you're spending more money on your second shooter. I'm like, because I bank on the fact that most people will want it.
Yeah.
And then, so actually now I have them put down a $750 deposit so I can pay my second shooter. But it wasn't so in the early days. And then we don't have to edit it until they've paid their last payment. So some people like the monthly thing and they'll just wait till a year out. Other people are doing 2 months and they're like, hey, what if we just pay the full balance? Can we get our video earlier? And absolutely. We'll put it, in the queue of videos we have to edit. But it's nice because then we actually can offset some video work in the downtime in the winter months and work on that later. So it was good for our editing workflow as well. And cash flow, having these payments that are coming in monthly that are small little bumps were nice. So that was good for a season. Yeah.
Genius. Every videographer is going to start doing this now, Cameron.
Hey, yeah. If they shoot photos, and they want to do an upsell video, that's the way to go. I think more people should do it. And
so oftentimes too, like couples have the budget for photography and want video so bad, but it's just not within their budget at the time. Yeah.
And like there's a couple couples that have not bought their wedding video because after their wedding, they just bought a house. This is more important to us is a house. And I can't judge that. That's fine, and that's okay. It's on a hard drive. Hopefully, if that hard drive is still good in the closet, but they probably won't ever come back, and then,
Dude, Cameron, do you feel that wedding content creators would actually replace that video that you're making for them?
No, I think a lot of people will be satisfied with what wedding content creators can generate, and then, just like anything, there's going to be people that I want the quality, I want the intentionality, I want the value of like really quality equipment, and the thoughtfulness of a kind of the long form or the long, slow process of editing a video,
The dramatic.
I mean, there's going to be so many people that are like, I'm just good with something on Instagram. I'm just good with phones. But everything comes back around. Film came back around.
Yep.
Even if content creators blow up for a season, there's going to be the next generation that are going to be like, nah, I don't want anything online. I want an old school video that's 4 minutes long that has our mouth on it. And you spent 40 hours editing, How long does it take you to edit videos? Derek?
Dude, it takes like an actual video, probably like, I would say 3 months. I would say. Yeah, man. Like it takes me a long time just to find a song. That alone is like a process.
It's the hardest part. Yeah.
Because you're totally inspired by the song and that like guides the video editing process for you.
Big time.
Do you lay down footage before you put the song down, or you have to have the song down and then lay down footage?
So sometimes I'm just like going through music bed and I'm like just visualizing the wedding as I'm listening to a song. I kind of have an idea of what I want when I edit, but I'm just visualizing it basically. And then I start to put clips down.
That's cool. Really sweet.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
All right, man. Speaking of stuff, techniques and things, can you share some techniques for utilizing natural and artificial light to create stunning wedding images, especially when challenging like indoor or outdoor environments? And you could bring video into this question too.
Sure. Yeah. Early on when I started shooting, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going for it. And I remember doing this beautiful engagement session on the beach, and the couple was walking in this like thin layer of water, and it was getting the reflection and the blue skies behind them. And I was just like so in love with these photos. I thought it was the best photos I'd ever taken. One of my first early couples. And I was showing them to someone that was a graphic designer, someone who had an artful eye. And she said, these are great and all, but what if you use the fill flash? Because, the shadows in their eyes, they kind of look like raccoons.
Yeah.
And that sentence has haunted me forever since then. I mean, I was so defeated and deflated, just thinking, oh man, I thought these were so good. And she totally pointed out like the shadow in their eyes, and that's the eyes are the window of the soul. And I've like put those eyes in the shadow because of the lighting. And so I tried to do the fill flash. For a season, I was reflecting light in it. I bring an assistant and bounce light into people's faces, and they're just trying to do this. They're squinting. And so I just didn't like any of it. I didn't like the fill flash. I didn't like the reflector. So I finally realized if I put the sun behind them and expose for the shadows, that all of a sudden their hair, is glowing. Their shoulders have a rim light. Their side of their face has a rim light. And you can catch these dust particles floating in the air. And it's all of a sudden this magical shot. And, this is before blogs. This is before wedding photography conferences. This is before there was a lot of photographers to learn from. There was like a handful of photographers in the area, and all of them were film and old school. And, I all of a sudden went backlight. That is the thing. And that's where I just like really found my voice as a photographer. It's just putting the sun behind them. I don't care about blue skies. Forget about them. I just want the glorious sun illuminating them from behind, and I get all this nice clean shadow. So I'm not a big artificial light person, although I was shooting portraits today, doing some professional headshots, and I was using another light source, a Godox, big, strobe, and I was doing that because I wanted commercial looking photographs. So commercial is such a different world. It's about control. It's about precision. It's about this like magazine curated look. But lifestyle photography, the one that the lane that I ran down, was about natural. It was about flowing. It was about capturing the moment. My tagline for my business since I started has been fall in love with the moment. And so anytime you're getting a lighting system involved, you're slowing things down, you're getting people stiff, you're losing that moment and all the magic that can happen if you're chasing the sun and chasing the moment. So I just avoided flash as much as possible. And I just used backlight and foliage, trees, foliage. Thank you. I said it wrong. Trees and backlight is my jam,
Dude, I just love listening to the vendors when they describe their work, because I could already sense your passion and a sense of like who you are when you describe everything.
Sweet. Thank you.
So now that we got the photo taking out of the way, let's get into your editing process, man. So can you walk us through your post-production process and how you ensure consistency with your editing style?
Yeah. So, it's evolved over the years, of course, going from film where you just drop it off at a lab and pick up prints and go, that is good, and throw away the bad shots, to digital and having to learn how to process raw images.
Mm-hmm.
And, a good friend of mine, Jeff Newsom, was getting started at the same time as me. And he would shoot weddings with me and assist me for a long time. And eventually he started shooting weddings on his own, but he was like mad scientist, like computer genius guy. And so he helped me learn how to process raw images, even though I was terrified of it. This is when you had to do it in Photoshop, and Lightroom didn't exist, and it was tedious and hard work. So that's my like back story. But now what I do is, I throw them into Lightroom. I actually cull them using Photo Mechanic. It's a little bit swifter.
Yeah.
Pick out my best ones. About for an 8-hour wedding, you get about 100 images per hour. So 10-hour wedding, you're looking at like around 1,000 images between me and my second shooter. Throw them into Lightroom. And my same friend, Jeff Newsom, we got our start together, he developed an AI software called Impossible Things. And he also created this website called Develop, and it's DVLOP.com.
Yeah, Develop, yeah.
And so he went around to all of his photographer friends, the famous ones that speak at WPPI and travel the world shooting. And he sells their presets. And so I actually run this AI software that he created with, like lately I've just been using this Jose Villa preset, like a Noritsu 400. And I throw it on there, and the AI will straighten an image. It'll, read that it's a face, and what's the brightness need to be for that face. And it'll read that it's a dancing scene, and it'll apply that preset across those 800 or 1,000 images. And then I send a catalog file off to a guy in India named Don Raj. So I'll send it to this guy in India, and I let him do his best, and I get it back from him. And then I go over it and I fine tune it. But that saves me hours and hours and hours, because when I was first doing editing raw images using Photoshop, I would spend 20 hours on a web, easy. And now it's just a few, and so I'm super thankful for all those tools that are now here, the technologies that are now here. I mean, AI masking is insane. That just happened this last year, game changer.
Yeah.
But in particular, develop and Impossible Things that Jeff started has been awesome. So pretty cool that my friend is such a genius. He's really been a blessing to my business all along. So shout out to Jeff Newsom, even though he won't listen to this, but
we'll get him to listen to this.
Good luck.
So I want to go into the AI. Do you feel like AI is going to kind of like hurt the photographer's creativity, or is it going to benefit it?
I mean, it's just like any tool that humans have developed and created and used. It eliminates a lot of busy work, and it speeds the process up, and it allows them to get back to the magic of creating and being present. I don't know if we were designed to sit at computers 12 hours a day, but that's what one of our occupations is. No matter if you're selling insurance or you're a photographer, a videographer, a wedding planner, you find yourself locked into this computer. So if we can just continue to use AI technology to get us off the computer and more engaged with people doing the work of creating and connecting and making, and I think the world's going to be just such a more happy place, more balanced place. So let AI take over and be our slaves of repetition and redundancy, and let's just eliminate all that computer time and be more with people. That we'll be doing so much better as a human race, I think.
Yeah, we're all
really good point.
We're all social beings, so we need to be socializing.
Yeah, real socializing. Let's not do it through the screen. I mean, it's nice that we're able to Zoom right now. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But being in person is just so much better. It's so much more magical. I thrive on being around people.
Great.
I had one more question. When do you think wedding photography will get to the point where AI is just like starting to take over too much? Where do you think that line is?
I'm not worried about it because you still need someone to walk around and take photos and direct people. I mean, sure, maybe we can get robots to do that. And, little creatures walk around with cameras and just buzz everything. But I mean, that's the real work, is being present in front of someone and setting them at ease, or giving them a little direction, giving them assurance they look beautiful. And that's where the human connection part,
yep.
Just like cause and effect of, a couple being together, you can see the love on their face. You can tell a lot about a photographer by their subject matter, but by the stuff they shoot, the people they shoot, or the scenes they shoot. Does that person look awkward? Is all of the people you photograph awkward? Well, maybe you're an awkward photographer. Maybe you're making people feel awkward because a little bit of me is in that scene. There's a little reflection of me. This light has to bounce from them, off of me, back to them, and then my camera's got to capture it. And so there's a piece of me in there somewhere, even though it's not about me, but I hopefully enhance and make them better and make them more free and that love flow better. That's the goal. So AI can do everything else. I don't need to even touch my photos. Like, I would be happy to shoot and just hand the cards off to a computer and it does everything and delivers it and sends them an email, and they're better than I can do it, because I don't need to be like a computer technician, I need to be a people connector. That's what's important to me.
I love that. And Cameron, you've been through so much, from like dark rooms to the Photoshop raw editing that you mentioned. As a seasoned wedding photographer, can you just share, like, what overall advice would you give to aspiring wedding photographers?
Yeah, I think if I were to give some advice, it would be invest in your passion, whatever it is, like, really know yourself, do some research on who you are, instead of research everyone that you want to be or everyone that you want to emulate or be like. A lot of photographers will do that right away. They'll just be copycats out the gate. And they're just, I love this style. I love this photographer. I love this look. We're just going to do that and sell that. Instead of that, find out who you are, who you've been created to be, what your unique blend is, your personality mix, your skill mix, and really double down on that, embellish that, invest in yourself. Know yourself, study yourself, and let that be the flag you wave, the banner that you put out there, and let your style evolve from that. Because copycats are, dime a dozen, and they come and go, and they're just ripping off someone else, and they can end up being kind of a chameleon of a personality, of a business person, or even as an artist. And so, I don't study other photographers. I'm not trying to be anything else. And sometimes I think I need to, and I go, I should probably look at other people's work and try to be better or be different. But every time I do that, the comparison, like cancer, takes over, and I start telling myself I suck and I'm not good enough, and I'm not creative, or I'm not artistic, or I'm not technical enough, whatever it is. And those negative self-talk needs to go. And I just need to double down on who I was created to be, who God made me to be, what my unique personality and blend is. And I just need to offer that to the world and let people take it if they want that, and not be bummed out when someone decides that someone else is a better fit, and because there's a lot of great options.
Dude, that is such a good question. Just be true to yourself and your work will show. And it's such a hard thing to do, like you mentioned, in this social era, to keep true to yourself. Yeah, that's insane. Dude, yes. Beautiful.
I think more people need to, ground themselves from social media when they notice the anxiety that rises, the depression that sneaks in, and the comparison, all coming from comparison. What I don't have, I rather focus on all that I have and be thankful for that. I feel like I have one or two talents, and my goal is to use those and embellish those, not embellish, exploit those to my full potential and just go all in. And there's a lot of like business terminology I could use right now, like the 80-20 principle, or, spiritual terminology, like the parable, the talents. But all those principles and stories point back to like, look at what you have in your hands, what you have in your heart, and give that all away and just go all in on that. As opposed to trying to do the stuff you suck at or the stuff that you're not created for. Delegate that stuff. There's plenty of people out there that want jobs. There's plenty of tools and technology that can take the burden. And thankfully AI is now helping a lot more of that. So you can be all that you're meant to be. This problem is when you look at what you don't have, you have all of a sudden you have lack instead of abundance. But I could have like just a couple things in these two hands, and I could see that and go, this is an abundance. But if I start looking around, I go, that's an abundance. What I have is lack. And that's not the way to live. It's not the way to work, not the way to be creative. So
great advice. Dude, we all need to take that to heart.
With all your accomplishments and your huge success, you're such a humbling, down to earth person, which is refreshing. It's so nice to hear.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So speaking about photography, what are your 2024 photography goals?
It's a good question. I was just talking about it today, and this is funny because it'll be a little ironic because I answered a question earlier about artificial lighting, and just shooting these portraits with artificial lighting today. I said it'd be really great to take another approach to portraiture, really well lit artificial lighting, and actually start to nail that side of like photography, which is so unlike my past lifestyle in the moment. But where I'm at presently in my photography journey is running a production company that's primarily video with photography, and it's commercial based, where all that commercial lighting comes into it and has its place, whereas it doesn't have its place in the wedding world. I think I've got the hang of weddings. It's been 21 years. I can go shoot anyone's wedding tomorrow without knowing anything about them, and I'll probably do an amazing job. Hopefully they like that style that I have, but I don't really need to. I can go into a day without knowing anything and just do a great job, because I just can anticipate so many things. But commercial is like the thing that I've been investing in the past 6 years. So I was thinking, it'd be cool to really nail commercial lighting in a really refined, technical way, but with that like personal connection with your subject in a way that it's truly them, but in this beautiful light. Because I shoot a lot of winemakers, I shoot a lot of wineries.
Wow.
I thought it'd be cool to do a winemaker project where I go to all the different winemakers in Paso and just get this amazing portrait with them. And the cool thing is I'm going to delegate the lighting because that's still not my passion. My nephew, David, who's on the other side of this wall, he was doing the lighting today for our headshot for this professional person in Paso Robles. We're at the El Agredo Hotel. I was shooting a lady who's this really amazing boss woman in the wine world. And we're getting some beautiful headshots of her for her new endeavor. And I'm like, man, that'd be so cool to get really good at this, because he was handling the lights and I was working with the person. I mean, we were having great conversation. She kept breaking down in tears. We were talking about real stuff and then we got these beautiful portraits, and he did all the lighting and made it look good, so as long as you delegate the thing you're not good at, you can thrive in the thing you are and kind of have the whole package, So I think that is one thing, one goal that I have this year, not to do with weddings.
I love it. I know you'll find success in any of your journeys you have for this year. Dude, so we could go on photography and videography for days, but let's get into your other baby, the Wedding Standard.
Yeah.
So as a founding member of the Wedding Standard, can you share some of the inspiration behind its creation and the vision you had for establishing the community of wedding professionals?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know what year I started it, but it's been a long time. And It came from a little bit of frustration with the wedding industry that was at the time. In order to get weddings, you had a couple options. You advertise in a local bridal magazine. There's a couple of them. There's one called Wedding and Party, and there's Central Coast Bride. Central Coast Bride is still around. Wedding and Party was like an 8x10 magazine. And then you went to bridal fairs and you actually had a booth, and that Central Coast Bride still does them. So in my early days, I would sit at a bridal fair and wait for brides to walk up and try to chat with them and show them my albums. And then I would go to these weddings, and there were some professionals that weren't very loving, and they weren't very excellent, and they were embarrassing. And I saw it affect the bride and her joy. And I saw it impact the photos that I was getting, because she was so concerned with this thing that went wrong, or this thing, or this planner that let them down, or this venue that wouldn't allow kids into her house because she had Spanish tiled floors and she didn't want kids. So kids were sitting in a car baking in the Paso sun, waiting for this wedding to start. And, just these awkward moments at weddings. And I just went, this isn't the way it should be, this is the coolest day ever. And to see this DJ be grumpy and sharp with a couple or a guest, that's disappointing, they should be like, oh yeah, let's do this, let's play that song. Or I can't play that song because of this, I'm sorry, and be loving, but then there'd be other wedding professionals that we just couldn't believe that they got to be at a wedding and do the thing they loved and serve the couple, and they just do it with excellence and beauty, and they'd over deliver on their promises. And I went, there is a difference. There's wedding vendors and there's wedding artists. And I want to promote wedding artists because I want my couples hiring every vendor that loves what they do and loves the people they serve and does it well. And if that is the case, I'm going to get good photos, because they're going to be happy the whole day. They're going to not be worried, and they're going to be all themselves and feeling all the love. Because if we're pouring out love into these couples, they're just pouring out love back. And then I get good photos. So it's a little selfish. And so I started writing blog posts about my favorite florists, caterers, DJs, and venues, and planners. And, it just started to evolve. And this was when Blogger was the online publishing platform. This is before social media. And it was kind of a big deal to make a blog post. And, I would only be able to do one a month or one every other month, because I would sit down and interview someone for an hour, and I would transcribe and I would take photos and I'd put it on the blog. And, so that's how it started. And it just evolved over the years and grown. And, I've done a couple magazines because I really wanted to do something that felt like a piece of art, and it's just, it's got, membership that comes and goes, and fluctuates, and people are in the wedding industry for a while and they're not. And some people are in the wedding standard for a while and they're not, and it's fine. And so it's just this little publication community. But the industry is completely different than it was 20 years ago. And it's not because of me, but it's because of all the people in the community that have the similar heart I do for love and service. We've just given them a spot to just own that. And then that's become the standard. And then everyone else people have fallen away, then maybe they shouldn't be in the wedding industry. Then just go get another job, because there's a lot of jobs. If you don't love this, go away, So, that's how I want it. I want everyone at a wedding to be I can't believe I get to be here. This is awesome. And this couple's rad, and we're going to have a great day. And so that's kind of the heart of Wedding Standard.
Well, I love that you took the initiative, way back whenever you did, and it's just continued to evolve and cultivate a community of incredible vendors that love what they do. Beautiful. nowadays, since there's like, a few different ones, like you mentioned CCB, there's, a few others that popped up. What sets the wedding standard apart from other industry platforms or community-based groups, whatever you want to call them? And how does it foster collaboration and growth among the members?
The root of it has been community, and we have done a lot of venue launches. So a lot of venues that were just getting going, we would throw their first party, and it was a labor of love. A florist would spend her own money like on the flowers and the decorations and just go all out. And, like every person that came in would just pour themselves into that event to show the rest of the industry, this is what I do. This is I love this. And here's my best work. It's like, instead of doing that at a bridal fair, we're doing that for each other at a wedding event. And then we're also like treating all of the vendors as guests, and the caterer would serve them. And so we get the kind of wedding level treatment that we would perform every week. Mm-hmm. We get to be guests at it. And so for a while we were doing community events like these wedding standard, like we call them venue launches, or I forget what else we called them, but we were doing them at one point every month. It would be another big party, another big dinner, and we just go all out. COVID changed all that, and it was probably good for me to pause from that, because I felt like a wedding planner for a while, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Imagine, yeah, that's a lot of work.
Ridiculous how many things I got to think about and do. And so I kind of needed something to break me out of that pattern, because it kind of felt like an expectation that I was running with. But yeah, that community, that sense of community, and then that loving each other and trying to just be gracious to like let people shine. If you do this and you love this, show us what you got and become a part of this community. So that's kind of been the heart of it all. And yeah.
So do you guys still do the little parties once in a while, or is that something you're not doing, or are you bringing back?
Yeah, we haven't done as much. The last one we did was at Templeton Mercantile. Mm-hmm. And we did this big event launching that new venue. And I have a couple friends that are owners there. And we tried to do one last month, but I'm not sure. We didn't get a lot of signups, so we just canceled it because it was a speed dating theme. And I don't know if people thought that meant they needed to be single to mingle, but the idea was we were going to like kind of like sit down and shuffle around and get to know each other and have like these fun questions. And it just didn't have the traction, so we canned it. But which I don't mind. If people don't want to come to an event, we just cancel it. It's not on me. But we've launched venues like, Green Gate Ranch. We did one of their first, venue launches and photo shoots, and, Terra Mia, and, a lot of different event venues. And so, I'm kind of thinking maybe we just need to get back to that and just pace it like every quarter. That way it's not too overwhelming. Yeah.
People were kind of like, get to know vendors. No, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. Or they thought they had to be single, and they're like, well, I don't need a boyfriend, so or girlfriend or whatever.
Speed dating vendors, but it is a good idea, like the idea of shuffling around and not speed dating them, but rapid fire getting to know them.
Yeah,
really good idea, dude. So I want to get into like the vendor selecting process for the wedding standard. Could you shed some light on your criteria for featuring vendors and the values that guide these decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. It's passion and prestige. It's ironic because I did that Fascination Advantage test, and it's all about how you're the most fascinating to the world around you, how you are at your best. And my label, my archetype was called the talent. And it's what's really weird, because every time over the years, people would say, wow, you're so talented, or, oh my gosh, these photos are beautiful, you have such talent. And I would always say, no, I'm not talented. I just am trying my best. And I'm just getting lucky on some shots. I just always poo-poo the talent comment. But then, looking into who I am, it was a combination of my love, my passion for something and someone, and my prestige, I want it to be the best product, or I want it to be the best quality. I want to spend a little extra time to make it beautiful, refined, whether it's the editing process or whatever, that those two things combined form the talent. And so I'm like, wow, I can actually embrace that. And I can actually say thank you to people that say you're talented instead of like shoving it off. And those were the two core values I had for the wedding standards: love and excellence, passion and prestige. So it was really eye-opening when I did that test. I'm like, oh my gosh, I built the wedding standard off of my personality type. And that's what I want the wedding industry to like reflect and exemplify. So first and foremost, people that we allow to become members, we want to make sure that they are good citizens and good friendly neighbors, and good coworkers, good co-vendors, and they actually are nice to each other vendors, and they work well with planners, they work well with DJs, they are loving.
Yeah.
They love the industry they serve in, and they love the people they serve, and they have a good reputation. They're not trying to rip people off. They're not, getting drunk at the reception. They're not like stealing money, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're not complaining. They're not being victims, and then excellence. Are they doing the best work they can with what they have? And are they going the extra mile? And so those are the two qualities that are super important. And then the third is like having a good brand. Like, have you invested in your brand? Have you, did you just make your website from scratch, and it's not very usable and it doesn't reflect like excellence. And an artistic quality, so it's kind of like really important to have good branding out there. But brand isn't just your website. Brand isn't your logo. Brand is all these different touch points that you leave in your wake, and do those touch points add up to a good brand, So that's kind of the couple things that we consider.
This is brilliant. So from what I'm getting is that you guys are taking in people that are established and have a good, reputation, a good wedding, and they meet the standard of the wedding industry, it seems like, for you guys.
Yeah. And it's hard because over the years when I was super involved in the wedding standard, I would actually like kind of made this rubric, and I would kind of like rate businesses based on those few things. And in order to kind of have like a way to explain to someone why I didn't allow them to become a wedding standard member, because I've said no to a lot of different businesses, because I don't just want more like dues or revenue for that business. I just want excellence, and I want good people. And sometimes it's, no, you're not ready. Like, you need to get a little bit more experience because you have some bad reviews. Like, part of the vetting process is having other wedding standard members comment on your business. So,
wow.
Just asking people like, what's your experience? And we'll have them like suggest people in the industry, like these people can give me reviews, and we'll reach out to them directly and have them fill out a questionnaire. And sometimes people are like, don't allow this person to be a wedding standard member. Dang. Because they do this notoriously. And they, like a catering company, they constantly are late. They constantly are not feeding people at the time that they said they would. And then cocktail hour is all of a sudden 2 hours or 3 hours, or their chef isn't showing up, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And like, I know as a photographer, that is a disastrous thing to happen on a wedding day. And it's going to throw everything off. And then I'm like at 9 o'clock going, okay, my 8 hours are up. I got to go. And the bride's like, but dancing just started. And, and it's her caterer's fault, And it's like, because she didn't have someone that had a high level of excellence or integrity. And so there's caterers that I've said no to, and it's so hard to do. Because I'm such a like people person, and I want to make everyone feel good about themselves, and anyone. Like, if I make you feel better than you felt before you said hi to me that day, then I feel good about who I am, because that's like really tied into my identity. But so to say to someone, sorry, you can't be a member of the wedding standard right now, and they come back, well, why? And the really awful people will just really be angry and like come back with like spite and like, well, you need to justify this, and so I've been able to say, well, it's because of some reputation things, or it's because of your just website just not there. Like, you do great work. It looks like you love what you do, but you need to work on your brand. You need to work on like the look and feel, because it doesn't really align. Like, this is you, if you haven't updated your website in 10 years, that's a problem. We don't live in the 90s anymore. Like, that was fine in the 90s and early 2000s, but like now you kind of have to keep updating. You got to keep up with the times and technology. And so that's been the hardest part of the wedding standard, is being exclusive and not just being a listing that anyone can subscribe to. But it's also been what sets us apart, because brides go there knowing that everyone has that level of excellence. Some brides know that. Some brides just stumble into it and go, this looks great. They're great people. Venues know that. Some venues, especially new ones, will just hand out the wedding standard magazine as like, this is our reference list. Like, anyone on here is good, So I've just kind of tried to keep that as a priority. And because of that, it hasn't become a business that can retire me. So I'm not making bank on that business at all. So, and it's fine. But at one time I thought, maybe this is what I do when I'm too old to be a wedding photographer, or less cool, maybe I'm wedding standard guy. And then I've let that dream move on and pass me by. That's fine.
I love that you're really, it's just great to hear your vetting process and like how seriously you take that on, because you are like giving the check mark and the green light, saying like, stamp of approval. This is the wedding standard. So it's nice that you're keeping the standard high, and a great level of service, and great vendors to choose from.
I also have like painful regrets. Like, I saw a coordinator recently. I was shooting a wedding with her, and I'm like, man, I know I told her no like 10 years ago, and she's great now, and she's grown so much. Do I bring that up? Do I say, I'm sorry, and like, you can be a part of it now? But that just seems like, and she doesn't need to be a part of the wedding standard. She doesn't need to like join it to, get more business. And so I just hope that, all that stuff washes away. And I mean, I hate when I have to disappoint people, and I could be wrong, too. Like, I could make mistakes. I'm not the standard of excellence. I'm not the wedding standard. I just try my best. I don't know.
That's so funny. I didn't think about that when you tell other vendors no, and then you go work with them at a wedding. That's especially a caterer. They're like, you don't eat today at all.
Totally. And then I go, I have allergies. Can you help me? And they're like,
seriously, like, no, dude. So I want to get into another question. So what would you say the percentage of bookings from brides that your vendors get? Like, what do you think the percentage is?
That's like asking, hey, that's like, there's a Pismo Beach billboard outside my office. It's like, how many people vacation here because they saw this Pismo Beach billboard? I can't tell you, like, there's marketing is this vast landscape, and it is about investing in many different touch points of your business, and promoting your brand through multiple opportunities. The people that tell their story the most often and the best win. Yeah. And if you're not telling your story, if you're not sharing who you are, if you're not putting out your brand with confidence in every possible spot you can, you don't believe in it, and you're not repping it, and you're not investing in it. And that works for a lot of people, a lot of brands. They can just glean off of like referrals, or, a coordinator likes me, or, a bride referred me. But like, the businesses that really kill it are the ones that are like, I'm going to advertise in the wedding standard. They call it advertise. I'm going to be a part of the wedding standard. I'm going to advertise on the knot. I'm going to show up at this bridal fair. I'm just going to be at that cocktail hour. I'm going to be everywhere, and I'm going to make myself known, because we own this space. Like, this is what we do, and we're so proud of it, and we're just going to put ourselves out there. So, like, how many bookings do you get from that post you did on social media yesterday? You don't know. No one knows. Like,
that's a great point.
Yeah. So you can look at you can look at your views, like how many views were, how many impressions you had, and then you have engagement, and then you have dollars. And so that's the problem with the wedding standard, and that's a problem I've never been able to overcome, is convincing wedding standard members that there's value in just showing up and being present. Because I can't no one goes on the Wedding Standard and like fills an online form out for Cameron Ingalls and goes, I'm booking you because I saw you on the Wedding Standard. Once in a while, I'll get a referral and they'll say, I found you on the Wedding Standard. And then I'm talking to them on their consultation call and I go, oh yeah, I made the Wedding Standard for you. So you're welcome. And they go, what? And they get shocked. I'm like, yeah, I just made it for brides like you who need to find great artists. And I'm glad you're using it. Tell me what you like about it and tell me what you don't like about it. And I've tried over the years to make it the best it can be. But I think that people need to see a value in being a part of community, and they need to take every opportunity to be a part of community. And then they also need to submit their work because we're a publishing company. I've kind of narrowed it down to, at first I'm like, oh, we're this community and we're raising the standard and we're like this esoteric thing. And then all of a sudden I go, okay, down to the basics. We're publishing content, we're publishing people's work, and we're promoting that work online on this, like these tools that we have, this technology we have, and people can take advantage of it or not. And so there's some photographers that they'll do a wave of submissions every like 4 months. They'll just submit 4 weddings. We'll publish them all because that photographer's great. And they go out on our blog, they go out on social media, and that photographer books a lot of work. And then another photographer's like, I haven't gotten any bookings from you, so I'm canceling my membership and I'm mad about it. I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. I don't mind. You don't have to be a part of this. It's fine. So I don't try to keep anyone. I don't try to convince them there's a huge value to it. People see the value and they opt in or they don't, and it's okay.
Yeah, so I like that. So like any platform isn't the fix, the solution to your problems. You got to put in the work, basically, like you're saying. I like that.
Exactly. And I've told people, like, it's not my job to get you business. Like, it's your job to get you business. Like, I can only give you a platform for yourself. Just like Instagram doesn't get anyone work. Yep. They get work using that platform. So I try to see the Wedding Standard that way because I'm such a people person and I'm so like emotionally attuned. I would get really bummed every time someone would cancel their membership.
Oh man.
I failed them. I didn't get them work. I didn't like show them that, and eventually I'm like, oh, that's okay. I had to get over that. I've grown up a lot. I'm not 20 anymore, 25 anymore.
I like that.
Can you share is there like a success story or like a memorable collaboration that you can share with us that emerged from the Wedding Standard? Like showcasing the power of the community you've created and the partnership?
Yeah, that's a good question. I love it. I think there are plenty. We've done so many awesome venue launches that we've drawn, like I think about All About Events, like Stephen Herring. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know the guy. Do you guys ever get to know him? He's amazing. The first time I met him was for his interview for the Wedding Standard. And I showed up at his warehouse, shot photos of him, shot photos of his team, and blogged about him, did an interview. He was a dude who basically was the reason why he started his business was his friend was getting married and there was a rental truck that was delivering items. And his friend said, hey, can you just be at this venue and wait for these items to show up? He was there. And the guy stumbled out of the truck, handed Steven the invoice, and like unloaded all these chairs and tables. Steven looks at the chairs and tables and goes, these are a mess. This is disgusting. Oh. And he looked at the invoice and went, this is a lot of money. And Steven just said, I can do that better. And I can do that with excellence. And he started a business. And now he has probably the biggest rental company in our county. And he delivers to so many places. He has trucks going all over the place. And the stuff is amazing. Everything he puts out is just like so beautiful and so taken care of. And like I don't know how well known he was when we did the Wedding Standard interview. I don't know how connected he was to our community, but pretty soon we're doing venue launches. He's doing some rentals. He's meeting coordinators. The coordinators are meeting the caterers. Wow. Like through all that collaboration and the time that we had to be together, beautiful relationships formed. You know, people would be like, okay, well, we're all only going to rent from All About Events now, you know, or we're going to only use this caterer, or these are our few of our favorite caterers. These are a few of our favorite photographers, because of those relationships that evolved out of that community space. So I can't think of any one story right now, but there's just so many stories, and I think gotta ask the members that have taken, you know, have benefited from it. You know,
I love it. Yeah, man, Steven, yeah, he blew up. That guy's a good guy, great guy, dude. So looking ahead, what do you see as the future direction or goals of the Wedding Standard?
I think we want to get a new handle on community events, like really iron out what our atmosphere is like post COVID. For a while during COVID, we were actually hosting monthly Zoom calls just to connect and process and, you know, talk as a group, like what was going on. And we'd have like 30 to 45 people show up on these Zoom calls on Tuesday mornings, and conversations when we were just all freaking out, going, what is happening to our world? And then, you know, after that, we stopped doing events, and we haven't done as many. We've done like 1 or 2 a year. And so, you know, talking to my team at the Wedding Standard, and I've got this awesome team. Alex Johnson is my assistant. She assists me in all of my businesses, and then also produces the Wedding Standard with me. And then I've got Amelia Puhak, who is our publisher. So she's publishing all the blog posts and setting up member profiles, and also running our Instagram. So I've got these 2 awesome women who run the Wedding Standard, and it's kind of just, we've been asking ourselves, how do we do community events with this new world that we're in? You know, like, are people wanting to get together, and, you know, how valuable is that to the community? And so we're just assessing that. I think we want to try to do a target of like 3 to 4 a year, and have them be kind of old school the way we did them before, where it's venue launches and all these vendors show up and just show off and just share their awesomeness, and the vendors get to like enjoy it as a guest. Kind of get back to that. I have tried to launch a new magazine the past year or so, but magazine sales or advertising sales has not been fun. And, you know, no one responded. No one wanted to invest in a magazine. So I said, okay, no, we won't do a magazine. You know, it's fine. They're expensive and a labor of love. And if the community doesn't want it, we don't have to put it out. But I do enjoy doing that. But I also don't want to make something just to make something. I want it to serve a purpose and have it be for the community. So, I mean, I would love to turn it over more to the community. And like, sometimes people come to me and go, hey, we just want to do kind of a happy hour open house at our place. We don't want to go all big. Can we just do something simple, small? Yeah. Sure. You throw the event, we'll publish it. We'll like invite the people, and you guys can handle all the logistics. We can just like be the, you know, ticket sales or platform, and we'll publish afterwards, you know? So I don't know. I want people to, I want it to serve the people, if that makes sense.
For sure. No matter what you do with the Wedding Standard, I'm sure it's going to be successful. So congrats on everything you've done with that, man.
Thank you.
For sure. How's that old fashioned? Is it
it's good. I'm kind of switching to some peach kombucha, or Paradise Peach Whalebird kombucha right now. I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to need that old fashioned, because we're going to come to our next part, which we like to play, called This or That. So we're just going to pop off questions, and you just give us an answer. Jade, take it away.
Fire.
Yeah.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Prime or zoom lenses?
Oh man, I'm a zoom lens guy now.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
Read a book or watch a movie?
Both.
Hey, you could do it. Shoot only in JPEG or only in black and white?
Ooh. Black and white? I came from black and white background, so yeah, I'll do it black and white.
All right.
Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Photograph a big wedding with nothing but drunks, or a small wedding with a bunch of babies?
Babies?
Are the bride and groom a baby?
We could say everyone's babies.
It's like the same thing, huh? Oh man. Well, I photograph drunks every week, so I mean, I guess drunks. Let's go with the drunks.
Okay. Sandals or Crocs?
Sandals. Rainbow sandals.
Rainbow sandals. Shoot only with manual focus or be stuck at ISO 6400 for the rest of your life.
Manual focus, no problem. That's back in my film days. I can get back to that if I had to.
There you go.
Bungee jumping or skydiving?
Skydiving.
Okay.
I've done that. It's awesome. It was terrifying. It was terrifying on the way up, but on the way down, it was exhilarating. It's great.
Dude, gnarly. All right, here we go. Only be able to shoot with your phone or only be allowed 5 frames a day on whatever camera you please.
Oh man, phone's fine. Yeah, that's how I roll normally.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
See the future or change the past?
See the future.
There you go.
Sleeping late or sleeping early?
Sleeping early.
Only shoot at 0.1 frames per second or shoot everything in full auto mode.
0.1 frames per second or shoot in auto mode. If for video you're talking about.
Yeah.
The video nerd question. Just auto mode.
Money or brains?
Brains, I guess. I don't have either, but so I don't know.
Only be allowed to have 100 photos in your library at any given time or never allowed to look back through the viewfinder or the LCD screen to take a photo.
Never allowed to look through the viewfinder.
Oh, yeah.
Have a photographic memory or be able to forget anything you want?
Photographic memory. That would be the best.
Yeah.
I tell people that I have a photographic memory, but I only remember what I photograph.
Only be allowed to shoot in hard sunlight or not allowed to post-process your photos.
Hard sunlight.
There it is.
Poor and happy or rich and miserable?
Poor and happy.
You killed it. We killed it with this. Dude,
That was easy.
I love it. Yeah, super easy. And the last and final question we like to ask on our Zoom or on our podcast is, if you could choose any superpower to have while working a wedding, what would it be and how would it help you?
My superpower would be make people feel awesome and make them be their best selves, you know? And I think that's the superpower that I bring to every wedding. Yeah.
You already have the superpower, my man. You already have it.
That's the way I want to roll.
All right, Cameron, before we go, can you let everyone know where they could find you?
Yeah, you can find me at CameronIngalls.com and Instagram/Cameron Ingalls. So Ingalls is how you spell my last name. Yeah.
And what about the wedding standard?
Oh yeah, theweddingstandard.com.
I love it, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be on our podcast, man. We had so much fun learning everything about you guys.
My pleasure. I don't know if I exceeded your time frame. We didn't talk about time boundaries, but thank you for the long, awesome conversation. You guys are great.
As we wrap up today's episode, it's clear that Cameron Ingalls' passion for photography is fueled by his profound love for people and his unwavering commitment to serving them with excellence, especially in his role as a wedding photographer. Cameron's dedication to his craft shines through every conversation.
I know his ability to create a naturally comfortable atmosphere for his clients love to just shine through, coupled with his mastery of light and storytelling, ensures that his role is not just about taking photos. It's about crafting memories that reflect the genuine love and joy of each couple. And as we delve into the wedding standard, we see how Cameron's vision extends beyond his work and as a founding member to foster collaboration and growth among wedding professionals. So whether you're an aspiring wedding photographer seeking advice or a seasoned wedding professional looking to elevate your craft, Cameron Ingalls and the Wedding Standard embody a shared commitment to excellence, creativity, and above all, love.
I know, truly inspiring. And Cameron, I look forward to your TED Talks. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. And until next time, keep capturing those moments of light and love. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to hear from some more amazing wedding professionals, whether you're tuning in on our podcast or watching it on YouTube. We'll catch you on season 2, episode 6.